this video is about making the classic tote. It was from a magazine called Simply Sewing. They've got it with cork. I'm going to make it the bottom bit with vinyl. It's going to be burgundy and denim and red stripes, and the inside is going to be, the lining is going to be motorbikes or mopeds. So I'm making this for my daughter. I'm actually in the middle of making the straps, so just about to finalise one of the straps. They're quite wide, it's going to be on the shoulder, so I'm using a zip foot so I can get closer to the side, to the edges. I've got a 2.5 on my brother, Innovis 955 stitch length, too far over actually, better. And let's go, and then I should trim these because obviously you can actually see some of the white. So I should trim these down when I'm done. I glued them together first. To keep them in place while we're actually sewing. I've already sewed one side and I've done the other strap. They will be cut at 26 inches. And there we go, that's both sides. Okay, so we just need to neaten them up where you see a bit of white sticking out there. I should just going to cut them off now. So there's the two straps. One I had to join because I didn't have enough fabric, but they're sewn, glued together and sewn, and they are 27 inches long. And the next thing it says is to, and let's just get you the, as you can see that when I was getting all my materials and everything together, I used a pen to outline everything I'd gotten. That side as well, so I knew what I've got everything. Top stitch down both sides. We just step 3, place 2 tab pieces, wrong side facing, glue together and top stitch all the way around with the coordinating thread. So that's the next stage. And this time I didn't glue because it's a smaller item. I used the 1/4 inch sticky tape, double backed. There you go. And then put them together. And then I should top stitch all the way around, so I'll come back when I've done that. And then obviously then you can still see some white. How many templates you use, you never get exactly the same. So I should, once I've sewn it together, then I should trim and get rid of all the white. Slowed the machine down a bit because it went a bit hectic when I first put your foot on it. And obviously then when you get to the corner, try and turn evenly, keeping the same distance. I've gone right to the very edge. That's not good enough, it needs to be over it just a little bit. Start there, back stitch, I have nearly run out of this first lot of cotton. I'm using up all the old red spur. That's better, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And yeah, I'm fine with that because I can always put it. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll just pull that out, make that flat. I can always put it down that way. Right, I'm going to trim all around the edge. So that's the tab we just sewn all the way around, and that's the female prested side of it so far. So then the next stage is to put the front pocket with its corresponding trim from the top together, right sides together, and then sew. Now this size 1/4 of an inch. So I need to take the zip foot off and put on the ordinary foot. Seam allowance of 1/4 of an inch. So I've got my foot J, and from the edge to the needle I can't get it over any further. It's probably a large 1/4 of an inch. This will do me. There we go. Then it says to press them open and then top stitch. Now it says using the decorative stitch, so I suppose it's entirely up to you. Just use a straight stitch. I've moved my needle over and I should use this edge on this side to, I've pressed it flat, and it's the top stitch on the trim part at the top. For some reason it's just will not sew right. There we go. A nice bit of decorative red across the top. There we go, and that's that bit done. So then we put the pocket lining right side together with the pocket, and then we sew right from one side across the top and then down the other side, and then we clip all 4 corners and pull it through. Quarter of an inch, so don't forget to put your needles back in your position that you're doing yours. Making sure when you turn that you have still got the 1/4 of an inch. And the same, because my fabric is a bit bigger, I shall actually use the side of the denim as the gauge, and not the fabric underneath. And I shall be trimming that fabric off to make it neat and tidy and less full. Don't forget to go back and then obviously then you trim. Quicker if on straight sides if you use, making sure that you're in shot. Make it level all the way round. Just trimming off the excess lining that you've got underneath. That's it. And now take off the corners, making sure you don't go through any stitching, and then turn. And soon, once you've got your corners out, then you press. So we'll go to the ironing board. Once you've turned it through and then press, then remember that if you've got a machine, it bunches up at the back because it's an automatic from the bottom. Try and remember to pull it through, and then it won't. Right, I can't get as close as I'd like to with this machine. The one thing I am disappointed about is that I can't get close. So this is top stitching from the top. As long as it looks neat and tidy. So there's my right side outer. Both front and back are the same. That's the right side outer. Then it says to place it. So let's just read it. Place the pocket right side up on the top of the right side of the outer, matching the bottom edges and positioning it centrally across. Well, the way you get it centrally is to fold it in half, and then you can press that, make sure there's a crease across there. Actually what I'll do is I'll use that line, but what I'll do with the bottom bit is once you've got that centrally, because it's the raw edge, and then obviously I've got a centre cut there to go by. And then for this one, get rid of these, there you go, and make a mark or put a pin that way. Straight down the centre, and then you can do the same with the top. Top and bottom are both the same, it's a square piece, the same length. So if you just put the pin through there, that's the centre. And when you hold it open, you've got your marks top and bottom. You've got your centrally where you cut it in the beginning, and your crease line. So that now should be centred. So let's put a few pins in. I can pull them ones out now. Make sure they're done. Put that across there. I should put a few more in just to make sure. And then it says to top stitch down at both sides. So that's what we'll do now. Top stitch down the sides, which I shall attempt to do. Trying to go halfway on this foot because I've got no other measurement to go by. And then turn it round so you've got the same measurement on this side. And that's been top stitched down both sides. Obviously the raw edge at the bottom will get taken up when it gets attached to something, and obviously then the pocket it's now complete. So, and there it is, that's the pressed it on. There you go, so that's the pocket done. Right, the next stage is, that's now the front, what they call the outer front, and this is the base front. Actually they're all the same, both sides, front and back, but this is now going to be the front. You do it right sides together. Obviously because it's vinyl you can't pin, but you can clip. Put some clips across the bottom, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Don't forget to go forwards and backwards at the start and the end. And this is where your pocket's underneath here. So you've got a few layers to go through. I've actually put a new needle on. I always change my needle on a new project. And cotton broke. Oh, but nice cotton. That's it. We've re-threaded, put another red cotton I'm trying to use up on. And don't forget to go back and forward. And then before your threads where you rejoined. It does say to press open, but it's vinyl, so it might not press out completely flat, but we'll have a go. Obviously don't keep your iron on too long, you don't want to stretch it. Right, we're going straight across now, top stitching, making sure that the seam is both together. It did say flatten it out, but I prefer to actually make sure it's pushed down to the thicker side. About 1/8 of an inch again. I've re-threaded, I have put a new thread on and done a new bobbin, so we should be okay now right to the end. And again, make sure it's pulled down, you can feel it underneath as you're going around. Which I think's weird, well, just put that on. Then it says to put the handles on. I would have thought it had been better before that stage, but never mind. If I make one of these again, I know how to alter that pattern. 5 3/8 in from either side. I've clipped, and now I shall base them in within the seam allowance. It'll be 1/8 of an inch because the seam allowance is only 1/4. This is the top section. Top trim, I think it's called. And obviously then you've basted your handles in, you put the trim on top, and then you obviously, when you're sewing across, going back and forwards at the beginning, you obviously then catch your handles in. But what you want to do when you get there is make sure that the handles are straight. And I've got the 3 layers even with each other. Again, it's going to be a little thick, so either increase your stitch or very slowly go across. And then what it says to do is to press them flat. I should just push them up, pull that up now, and then press it down underneath, making sure it's flat, and then 1/8 of an inch next to. And now they're being stitched again, so it's nice and strong. There you go, so that's one side top stitched, one handle. Two and 3/4 inches down. And put them right together. Level with this. Same as what's here. Right, on this next section it says this is the rear top, outer. This is the one of the lining zip pocket pieces. Then it says to draw a box. It says to find the centres, find the centre of that and ironed it, centre of that and ironed it, put them together and then measure down 2 3/8 and put this on top of that line, following the centres, matching them up, which it is, as I looked under there as well. So it's now central to that one, and 2 3/8 down. Then it says to do a box. I don't know if you can see that. I've actually drawn a line in orange chalk. It says 1 inch down, then 3/8 of an inch, and then put a line in the middle and make it 7 inches across. So we'll see what it says next. Yep, here we go. I increased my stitch length last time, so I'm going to bring it back down to 2.5. And just follow the stitching line. Turn. And turn again. That was 4 stitches on mine for 2.5. Obviously it depends what stitch length you're using. Once you hit the line, turn, and it should be 4 again. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And makes it the same side. And back down to where you started and back again. And then obviously then don't forget the V shape. Take the pins out, you don't need them in no more. I should be folding that in half, making sure it's level. Mine's denim, so it's a bit thick. Just need just enough just to get your scissors through, and go down to about 3/8 of an inch or half an inch away, and then do a V into the corners, making sure you do not cut the corners. And then reverse, do the same the other side. And then post through. Oh, tap pins out at the bottom. Go through all the way around. And then I should press. So anyway, keep doing that until you get it right and press. I used my 1/4 inch on my zipper so that when I presented the cloth on the zipper top, it will actually stick and hold it in place while I sew. I don't want to get too close. I've got as much as I can underneath, material wise. Hopefully that'll be okay. I don't want to get too close, so I know you are supposed to go, but I'm quite happy with being on the outside. Don't forget to go back when you start forward. I've got my stitch length on 2.5 for this. The pattern then says to bring up the, because it's a long pocket, then to fold it up and then do it right sides together with the right. Then you get your tab that you made earlier. Make sure that it's right side facing the zip pocket top. This is your top outer. That's your zip pocket you've just done. Make sure that it's still central. You should still have your line. Make sure it's central. And then clip. Obviously I can't pin. And it did say to make sure that it's above the fabric, so that when it's turned through it will be stitched in the top stitching. So just stitch 1/8 of an inch. You'll have to guesstimate where your 1/8 of an inch is, because obviously you can't see the edge. Make sure it is sticking above. Making sure it's still central to there. Obviously it's the same as the other one, where it's going to get sewn several times to make sure it's secure. You can on the other one use the metal clips, obviously that will go like that. But I haven't got any silver ones to match these, so that's why I'm not doing that. But anyway, there it is, all basted on at the top, making sure it's above 1/4 of an inch at least. So remember that I put the base on before, and it was made it really long and awkward to put the handle on. I said I'd do the handle. So it's just a matter of, now I didn't move the others up, so I just do this 1/8 of an inch with it being level. Hold on to Gunda, because this tends to want to move. It's only based in, I don't need to back stitch, but it's not a bad idea if you do. So I measured the other ones on the other bag to make sure that they were going in the same place. And that's basted. So you've got your top basted, your handle basted in this side. That didn't cut off, but it did. There we go. So that's basted in, that's on the top. So the best thing to do is lie flat and clip from one side to the other. Making sure to clip across your handles to keep them in, to keep them straight and still as possible, and get some more clips. And so 1/4 of an inch across. So once you've clipped, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and that way then you'll be catching all your handles back, go back up front and back. And then again, you can either make your stitches longer, or keep them the same if you think you're going to go over and it's not too bulky. Making sure your handles are straight, pointing down, hold them tight. and just take your time over the lumps. Now last time I pulled the handle on and turned it down. Obviously we need to do that with the centre bit, and top stitched 1/8 inch all the way across, making sure that it's down underneath. If I'd have done this all in fabric then I'd be pressing everything, but vinyl doesn't press very well, so I might as well just finger press. And there you go, and obviously then if you turn that down, that must go on the other side to secure the bag at the top. There you go, so that's what we've got so far. So this is now putting the base outer onto the top rear outer. And again, backwards and forwards, make life easier at the end of the day. And on the last one I pressed it, not going to this time. So that's where we are so far. Turn it around that way. And then I'm going to top stitch this down onto the lining, onto the bottom vinyl. So again, just make sure you finger press it down as best as possible to start you off. 1/8 inch. And because it's really thick, I'll go back. There is a vinyl mat you can actually get, you can actually put on a machine when you're doing different fabric like this to make it move. So anyway, there we are, that's top stitching done right across there. That's my front and back assembled. It wants me to put them together and pin, but obviously I can't pin. I can at the top, to see where this tag comes over naturally to where I should put the male counterpart. So what we're going to do is clip as far down the sides as possible to make sure that it's going to be to the same this side, making sure it's going to be keeping it in a straight line, centering it on top of each other. Okay, and obviously pull all these up out the way. And where does that come naturally down? It says, so I can put this. So, well, if that's the case, let's just pull that up there. Make sure that's level. Pull that down. It naturally wants to sit there. Now I should have some chalk. It naturally wants to sit there. X marks this spot. As you can see, I've now fitted, this is the male section, and I fitted the female section on the tab before I put it on the other side, and that now slips on there and brings it over. So we've got both sides are now finished. So let's see what we do next. Right, this is the slit pockets as they call them. Now it says interfaced one side of the slip pocket, but I've used foam and this time I've fused it. Then it says to put right sides together with another piece of zip slip pocket, and all the way around, leaving a turning gap at the bottom. So what we're going to do is start here, 1/4 inch all the way around, and then leave a turning gap, clip the corners, and then turn it through. All 4 corners this time. And there's nothing stopping you from taking this down if you think it's going to be too bulky, which mine might be because I've got the interfacing right up to the edges. So it's entirely up to you. Right, this is the other slip pocket, which I'm doing slightly different. I'm leaving a gap, see if it makes any difference to the finishing touch. All the way around. Again, we start at this bottom. Secure and cut. Put in all the corners. Again, this time I'm not going to cut the extra because it shouldn't be bulky. And that corner as well. So it should turn out just as good or better than the other side. So start at the other end. Pull it out, put your finger in the corner and then pull it through, and then do the same with, and then use your turning tool and press. Right, this is the one that's padded all the way around. This is the one that only had the interfacing but not right at the edges. The points are better on this one, but other than that they're absolutely fine. They're both the same weight, both the same slip pockets. We'll see what we do next. So the next stage on the pocket, on the lining with the pockets you've just done, is fold in half on the pocket and the lining so you can get the centre. 2 3/4 inches down, then place your pocket, and then you need to sew from both sides and the bottom. At that same time, that closes the opening you have at the bottom. And then just go from the bottom. You've already marked it with the iron where your centre is. If you don't think that, you could actually leave. I'm going to leave one like that side, and just do 2 small ones and 1 large one, and you can get more in it, especially with the bigger frames that you have today. And do this a few times. It's going to take a lot of things going in and out of it. And there you go, so that's one successfully put in. The other one I'm not going to, I'm going to leave a larger pocket. So do the next one. Right, now if you want to do an inner zip, this is the time that you do it, and then you place it just above one of your slip pockets. Obviously then the zip pocket is actually inside, behind, or you could drop that down further, but it does actually say place it just above here. So if you wanted to do another zip, use a nylon zip because it's on the inside, and drop it just above one of your lining pockets. Right, now the next section, I'm not going to do that because I think we've got enough pockets. It says to put one of the trims. Now I'm using the same trim as for the outside bag, so obviously then when you look inside the bag, you don't immediately see the lining. It's obviously still this one, still this. So clip to the top on both sides. Make sure you do your front and back the same, and then sew it on with your seam allowance of 1/4 inch. There you go. I'll do the same for both sides, front and back. And there's the one I've done, and it's been top stitched. As it's fabric, you can actually press the seam, the seam down, so there's no holding on to it. You can just get on with sewing 1/8 inch all the way across. It's already pressed down in place. Right, this is the bit where we now start constructing the bag. That's the front, that's the bag, or vice versa. And then you have to obviously make it match all the way around, and then you do all the sides across the bottom and then up that way. Now I can already, right, actually make sure you tuck all your handles and everything in, out of the way. Where it's cloth, you can actually pin. And obviously when you get to your these sections, make sure that they're completely matching and use clips obviously. And it should, with a bit of luck, all this should be the same length. Do the same on the other side, matching the top. You can pin this bit. When you get to the vinyl, make sure that that's together. You should then have the same amount to pin on the top. There you go, so far so good. I'm just going to pin the top just to make that, but I don't obviously sew the top. These need clipping, and that seems to be matching that side. And let's get some more clips. Seems to be matching that side. It's just slightly out. So if I just pull that together there, and then ask it to ease in, making sure that these bits there are still together. And obviously then you go straight across the bottom. So it's down the sides, across the bottom and up the other side. I'm not going to show that, I'm going to do 1/2 inch as well on this. Because of all the thicknesses, I've got my stitch length on 3. And that seems to be coping okay. And I've got it about just at 3/8 of an inch, perhaps 4/8. Could be 1/2 inch actually. Now the pattern says a different size to me. That's because I've added an extra length in the vinyl, because to make it, because I want a larger base than what they're saying. They're saying 2 and something eighths, 2 and 5/8 I think, a box on each corner. And obviously then if you double that when you open it out and sew, it's double that, the size of the base across the bottom. I want 7 inches or more. She wants to actually put things flat on the bottom of the bag for work. This is for my daughter. So I've gone from the seam, not from the outside, from the actual seam, and drawn 4 by 4. Now obviously then when that's opened up and sewn across, that should be roughly about 8 inches. It's usually about double. So what you do is you have to feel very brave when you get to this stage, but it's easier than trying to match up. And there's the other side done up. It's easier than trying to match up lines. So actually you've only got to match them, the seams. So you open them out. I'm hoping you can still see this. You open them out and then put some clips, and it's an easier way. Already look, the cotton is trying to come unravelled where I've cut it. So that's it. So that seams that side, and then clip the rest. Now I'm doing an 1/2 inch seam allowance on these. When I'm getting over here, I've got a 3.5 stitch allowance because it's really thick. Take my time, nice and slow, making sure that when I start and stop, I go over it several times. Now you don't have to check. See how wide that is? That's how wide your bottom will be. Whatever you've sewn, that's how wide your bottom will be. Right, now we're on to all my clips and everything else on the floor. Now we're on to our lining. You do exactly the same, so that's right sides together. So making sure that all your joins, this one at the top is the same both sides, and clip. You can actually, this is fabric, so you can actually use pins as well. So I've now sewn all my lining together the same way as I did the front and back on the outer fabric, the outer bag, and now I need to do a 4-inch turning gap. I have made 4-inch turning square on the corner. My turning gap is here, and I think I'm going to struggle to get anything through, but hopefully, that's fingers crossed. So I've got to do 4 inches starting from the sewing corner and draw a line. I'll do that both sides. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me just turn that one round. So it's 4 by 4. Turn that over. 4 by 4. There and there. That's how much I need to cut out on both sides. With it being cotton, it's not going to be so thick, so it should be easier to sew. So there's the first one, and there's the second. There you go, and then do the same as you did before. My turning gap is actually inside there, as you can see, and then we'll do the same as what we did before. And let's see what the pattern says next. Right, the next instruction was to bag right side out, lining wrong side out, and then put obviously right sides together by feeding the bag inside the lining, and that then creates right sides together. Obviously push everything in, you don't want nothing showing, push it all out the way. If you've got a zip pocket and things, then you have to think about which way your bag is facing, where you want your zip, where you want your pockets. Once you've said whether you turn it that way or then turn it the other, then obviously then it must say to put all the edges, turn the bag right, hang on then, with the bag outer right side out and the lining wrong side out, slide the lining over the outer for the right side facing, and all seams are matching. Sew together around the top edge of the bag. Turn the bag right side out through the gap that you left in the lining. So use your pins because it's all fabric, and to make your life easier, clips or pins or both. Putting all your put both sides together first, I would, that side then that side, and then ease them all in with lots of pins and lots of clips. Right, so I've took the extension cable off to make it go underneath, or as near as damn it. Make sure everything's tucked away. As you can hear, that's my extension cable falling. I'm just going to cut some of this, take some of this, make sure all the pins are out. I'm going to take that lining off there, so I need that to be on there. Should have chopped this off before. Right, this is going to be interesting now, whether I can get it all through that hot little hole at the bottom. It would have been bigger if I'd done smaller squares, but she wanted a bigger base, so that's put extra fabric on too, because obviously then it's pulling it down if you didn't. So fingers crossed. That's a bit scrunchy top where you can't reach. So anyway, I'm going to struggle to get this out, can't see the point of you watching, and then we'll come back. And not so bad as what I thought, look, still birthing, still giving birth. It's quite rather a long bag. I did change the pattern. There you go, and that's that, and this is where then you have to push everything, push all your corners out. There you go. And then what you do is sew your, you should be able to just pull this, I did that just right, look, that's not too bad at all. Pull that, I'm going to iron it and then we'll sew it across. So I pressed the top over and now I'm going to top stitch, and I'm going to sew it from the outside so I can see that that's actually all going underneath. Now it is quite thick, so I'm going to start just past there. I'm going to use a 4 because I just want a top stitch, not like a decorative stitch. So making sure that that's on top or and underneath. So we'll come back when I'm finished. And there it is, finished, top stitch around the edge, in all its glory, and it's rather a long bag. I think I added too much fabric, but then again, it's a bag and it's what she wanted, and it's made up really, really well actually. There you go. So I'll just turn it round. I'll put you down, then I'll turn it round, and you can see the other side. And that's an outside metal zip. There you go. Metal zip on the outside. I love the colours together. I think the fabrics work well. Just that bottom bit's a little bit deep, but then I can't change it. Anyway, there you go. So one bag, and oops, where have we gone? Gone all over the place. There's a bag. That's what she's holding, but obviously it's a deeper bag. I've got a deeper bottom than what she's got. That's fine, because she's got a lunch box and she can lay that nice and flat at the bottom now. She can put liquids in it and anything, it's not going to spill or anything, and then she can obviously put the rest of her work gear on top. Thank you for joining me. I hope this has inspired you to buy the classic tote by Simply Sewing. Whether you can actually buy this as a separate, or you have to have the magazine, I am not sure, but if you go on the Simply Sewing site and you're interested in this bag, I'm sure they'll let you know how or where to get it from. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Come on back and we'll watch some more videos. Thank you.